This is Our News, the weekend edition, and on the broadcast tonight, find out how much money the Ministry of Works is requesting for hurricane repairs on Ragged Island. Plus, one man dead following a police-involved shooting on a busy highway. And a former cabinet minister comes to the defense of the Prime Minister.
Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Good evening, I'm Andrew Knowles, and thanks so much for joining us. Topping the news, the Ministry of Works has requested that government allot $10 million in the upcoming budget for repairs on Ragged Island, as well as to complete repairs on several government buildings in the Family Islands damaged by Hurricane Irma. That's according to Director of Public Works Melanie Roach. Our Kyle Joaquin has the story.
Well, I have requested, and I don't even want to put it out there, but anyway, I have requested $10 million in the 2018 budget for repairs to government buildings, both in Ragged Island and also some outstanding ones from Matthew and Irma.
All eyes will be on the Minnis administration's budget presentation next month. Prime Minister Minnis recently stated that the government will oversee major capital expenditure in the 2018-2019 fiscal year to prioritize infrastructure expansion. Hoping to get $10 million of that budget is Ragged Island, which was declared uninhabitable after the passage of Hurricane Irma last September. Director of Public Works Melanie Roach led a team of government officials to Ragged Island this month and recently received an evaluation of the houses on the tiny island.
I also took inspectors from the National Recovery and Reconstruction Unit who would have done evaluations of the private residences on the island. I received the initial report of the evaluation of the private residences this morning, and so I'm in the process of going through that so that we can make a recommendation to NEMA as to what assistance is to be rendered with regards to the private residences.
The Prime Minister has plans of transforming Ragged Island into the country's first smart island. The Public Works Director says a project team has been established in the Ministry of Works. That team is comprised of architects and engineers. She said everything on Ragged Island is going to be new.
Who will be further liaising with all of the various government agencies as to what are their requirements for the newly constructed, all of the buildings are going to be reconstructed. So there'll be a new school, a new administration building with post office and space for local government. There'll be a new clinic, a new residence, and a new police station with accommodations for the police.
Now, as for what will go into making Ragged Island a smart island,
we will ensure that that the design incorporates all of the latest energy efficient components that are required. For example, we will ensure that there are, where applicable, solar energy. We'll ensure that the rainwater catchment tanks are reinstated properly because most of them were old and had kind of deteriorated. So we're going to make sure that the buildings as designed are very energy efficient.
According to the 2010 census, Ragged Island's population comprised 72 people. For Our News, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
From the crime beat, police shot and killed a suspect on a busy highway yesterday, leaving Her Majesty's coroner to now investigate another fatal shooting. The incident happened shortly after 4 p.m. on the East-West Highway. Both sides of the major corridor were shut off to vehicular traffic for some time as officers processed the scene. Assistant Commissioner of Police Clayton Fernandez says officers were on routine patrol in the area of Garden Hills No. 1 when they spotted a suspicious vehicle driven by a lone male occupant.
They beckoned to the individual to pull over by using their beacon horn and also their flashing lights. The driver quickly sped off and stopped just a short distance away. The officers were able to exit their vehicle and ordered the individual to exit the vehicle. He refused. It was at this time he opened fire at the officers. He was armed with a handgun. Officers being in fear for their lives, they returned fire. The driver was sped off again, and as you can see where the vehicle ended up.
Now, once the officers approached the vehicle, they found that the suspect had been shot. EMS personnel were called to the scene and confirmed that the suspect was dead. Now, police say a loaded pistol was recovered from the vehicle.
The lone male appeared to be in his late 20s, maybe early 30s. We don't have an identification on him as yet, but that is a line of inquiry that we'll be following through to identify who this individual is.
Police are appealing to members of the public who may have been in the area at the time of the incident to contact the coroner's office with any information. As for the officers involved, Fernandez says they were a bit shaken, but fortunately walked away with no injuries.
As you know, it's a very dangerous situation as law enforcement officers. As you're aware, statistics shows that a number of officers came to their death as a result of traffic stops in the U.S. And we always encourage our officers, be very careful as you approach vehicle to conduct a search. You got to be on the alert, and I believe that the officers was well alert, and that's what caused them to be alive today.
Meantime, police also investigating an early morning shooting incident at a gas station on the Tonic-Williams-Darling Highway. Police say a man was sitting in his vehicle at the Shell service station around 3 this morning when a man armed with a firearm approached and shot him. The victim was taken to hospital where he is listed in stable condition. Police also had their hands full investigating 3 armed robberies. In the first incident, it was around 4 p.m. yesterday when 2 men armed with a firearm entered a convenience store on Blue Hill and St. Vincent Roads, held an employee at bay and robbed the store of an undetermined amount of cash before fleeing on foot. Then shortly after midnight, a male and a female had just arrived at their residence on Marigold Farm Road when 2 men approached them with a firearm and robbed them of cash before fleeing in a silver vehicle. In the final incident, shortly after 2 a.m., 2 females were driving in the area of Love Beach when their vehicle was bumped from behind, causing them to stop. However, 2 males armed with a firearm robbed them of cash before fleeing in a vehicle. Now, investigations into all of these incidents are ongoing. Well, former Free National Movement Cabinet Minister Tennyson Wells is defending Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis against critics who claim the Prime Minister has made too many mistakes since winning last year's election. Wells says it isn't Minnis who is at fault, but those who are advising him. Our Jasmine Brown reports.
The Minnis administration has come under heavy criticism from the opposition and even members of their own party. From the controversial Oban deal to heavy borrowing, F&M MP's support of House Speaker Halson Moultrie despite his attack from the chair on a former civil servant and the loss of more than 2,000 jobs in the public sector. But Wells says as far as he is concerned, Minnis is not to blame, particularly as it relates to the Oban matter.
All the fight that they had about Oban, I don't know one project in this country that's ever went forward without getting approval in principle without environmental impact study. But the persons who were dealing with the government's information services or public relations do not understand the process. All of this talk in the media about environmental impact assessment, sure, everybody knows you have to do that. But I have been involved in developments over the years, the last 30 years, where I had to provide environmental impact studies, and they were done after the government said, yes, we allow you to do that if you do this and that. And I don't see why all this hullabaloo that I can see about the sign, and I understand that. But that should not be placed, even though that should not be placed at the feet of the Prime Minister, even though the buck stopped with him. That should, the blame for that should be put on the professionals, who are his advisors and the people in the AG's office who were dealing with these things. That due diligence should have been done before they sat down there.
Wells insisted he has spoken personally with Dr. Minnis to express his concerns.
And I told Minnis a couple of weeks ago, I said, listen man, you need better public relations.
A public domain poll showed the government's approval rating has plummeted since May 2017. According to the poll, the public's general satisfaction with the Minnis administration declined by 18% since the May 2017 election. The survey also revealed that the number of respondents generally not satisfied with the F&M administration has increased from 5% after the May 2017 election to 33% in April 2018. Wells noted that since coming to office, the F&M government has overseen a reduction in crime and a slight boost in the economy. He says despite the good the government has done, some people simply do not like the Prime Minister.
I think the people who was just opposed to menace and the press as well, who don't want to give him any leeway at all.
Reporting for our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
All right, thanks a lot, Jasmine. And we'll take our first break here, but still to come on our news. The Bahamas Institute of Chartered Accountants endorses government's draft version of the Fiscal Responsibility Bill 2018. And later on, the tale of a teen singer battling Hodgkin's lymphoma for a second time. Those stories and more coming up when our news returns.